You might think making a movie takes a couple of years. Sometimes it does, but other times it takes decades. Today we're counting down the top 10 films that took the longest time to make. Number 10 brings us to a film that may be familiar to fans of ambitious animation because it's one of the rare projects that just never seemed to finish. The Thief and the Cobbler. This animated feature began life in the mid-1960s when animator Richard Williams set out to craft a hand-drawn epic intended to outshine the great works of Disney. Williams worked tirelessly on the project, often animating alone or with a skeleton crew, pouring decades of love and detail into every frame. But as years turned into decades, funding dried up, studios pulled out, and Williams had to rework the project again and again. Though parts of The Thief and the Cobbler were eventually released in the 1990s, the film never truly matched Williams's original vision, and its production timeline stretched an astonishing 3 decades. Coming in at number 9 is another stop-motion epic that earned its place in history by sheer persistence. Mad God. Stop-motion filmmaking is famously painstaking. Imagine animating 1 frame at a time. But Mad God took that labor of love to another level. Creator Phil Tippett, known for his work on classics like Star Wars and Jurassic Park, spent over 30 years crafting this surreal, nightmarish journey into a dystopian underworld. Shot bit by bit, piece by piece, over decades, Mad God finally saw the light of day in 2021, a testament to the obsessive dedication of a filmmaker and the irresistible pull of his bizarre vision. Number 8 is a title that holds a kind of legendary status among movie buffs because of the strange path it took to reach audiences. The Other Side of the Wind. Directed by the iconic Orson Welles, this film was shot in the 1970s but left unfinished for decades. Welles struggled with legal battles, tangled financing, and shifting rights ownership, issues that persisted even after his death in 1985. Only in the 2010s did production finally get wrapped up, thanks to rights negotiations and the involvement of filmmakers and archivists committed to completing his vision. When it was finally released in 2018, The Other Side of the Wind had been in production, in one form or another, for nearly 48 years. That's almost half a century from start to finish. At number 7, we venture into a different category. Films that intend to take a long time because their story demands it. Boyhood. Richard Linklater's coming-of-age drama is unique because its extended production wasn't the result of setbacks or financial troubles. Instead, Linklater devised a brilliant concept. Film the same actors over 12 years so we can actually watch his lead actor grow up on screen. The cast came together once or twice a year for brief shooting periods, capturing real aging and real-life changes. Released in 2014, Boyhood is a cinematic experiment in time itself, a movie about growing up that grew up in real time. Number 6 returns to the world of epic filmmaking and ambition that pushes movies into extraordinary gestation periods. Avatar: The Way of Water. James Cameron, known for his perfectionism and technological daring, began planning sequels to the original Avatar almost as soon as that film became a global phenomenon. But crafting The Way of Water, with its groundbreaking underwater motion capture technology and huge visual effects demands, meant years of research, refinement, script development, and production preparation. Though filming itself took place over a more conventional span once underway, the road from concept to release stretched over more than a decade. That kind of commitment to craft has made Avatar one of the most talked about film franchises of the 21st century. But getting here wasn't quick. Halfway through our list at number 5 is a project that almost seemed cursed before it was made. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Terry Gilliam's attempts to adapt Don Quixote are the stuff of Hollywood legend and film school cautionary tales. Gilliam first tried to make this movie in the late 1980s. Problems with funding, a disastrous shoot that was documented in Lost in La Mancha, casting issues, and repeated attempts to start again plagued the project for decades. Actors aged out of roles, financing evaporated, and Gilliam even described the film as a tumor that wouldn't go away. Finally, years later, the film was completed and released, but only after a journey that stretched close to 3 decades. Number 4 is another project whose long timeline was driven by legal, financial, and political twists. The Overcoat. Not widely known outside animation circles, The Overcoat by Yuri Norstein has become a kind of mythic unfinished masterpiece. Begun in the late 1970s, this animated adaptation of Nikolai Gogol's story has seen decades of meticulous work from Norstein, one of the most revered animators alive. By 2025, the project was still unfinished, and its ongoing production time has reached over 4 decades. For many cinephiles, The Overcoat represents the ultimate artistic pursuit, a film that might never be completed, but that remains a lifelong testament to its creator's vision. Now we're into the top 3, films so notorious for how long they took that they're almost as famous for their production lives as for the movies themselves. Number 3 has become a favorite example whenever anyone talks about development hell. AI, artificial intelligence. Originally conceived by Stanley Kubrick in the 1970s, this project lingered for years because Kubrick couldn't figure out how to get the story right, and later because he didn't think the technology existed to tell it convincingly. After Kubrick's death in 1999, Steven Spielberg took the helm, reworking the script while trying to honor Kubrick's intention. The result was finally released in 2001, but the path from Kubrick's first idea to Spielberg's finished film spanned nearly 3 decades. It's a fascinating example of how even legendary filmmakers can be slowed by questions of technology, vision, and timing. Number 2 is a very different kind of project, one that started as a joke, then became real, then nearly disappeared again. Kung Fury 2. The original Kung Fury short film was a viral sensation, a gloriously over-the-top tribute to 80s action movies. But when the team set out to make a full-length sequel, things quickly got complicated. Announced in 2015, Kung Fury 2 attracted big names like Michael Fassbender and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but faced multiple delays, reshoots, and production halts. As of 2025, the film was still in limbo. While not the longest by years, it's become symbolic of how even fun projects can fall victim to the long, weird road of modern filmmaking. Nearly a decade in the making, and still counting. And finally, at number 1, Roar. No, not a slow post-production. This 1981 film took over 11 years to make because of something almost no film would dare attempt today. It used real, untrained lions and tigers on set. Actor-director Noel Marshall and actress Tippi Hedren spent years living with big cats, building a ranch, and filming what was supposed to be a wild adventure film about humans coexisting with lions. Instead, it turned into a real-life horror story. Dozens of crew members were injured, some severely, and the set suffered fires and floods. It took over a decade to finish, cost millions, and was a box office disaster. But it's now infamous for being one of the most dangerous films ever made, and one of the longest to survive its own production. So there you have it, a countdown of incredible films that defied time itself, reminding us that sometimes the creative process isn't just about how long you work, but what you're willing to endure to bring your vision to life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us which long production film surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.